Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. My name is Spectre Bull, and welcome to the Gaming Talks GrabBag of the week. Now, look, folks, I understand the frustration these days. AAA publishers putting out broken products, unfinished games, glitchy messes, technical problems, or just really bad games in general. Well, I'm here to tell you that you don't have to be spending that $60 to $70 to buy that broken product anymore. There are good games out there that are asking way less money from you. And I hope that this series will help you find some things that you might be looking for. This week, I want to focus on Kao the Kangaroo. Now, Steam has just started its Next Fest. Now, if you don't know what that is, basically it is an event on Steam where all of these small-time developers can put up demos of their upcoming games. And I saw that the devs, Tate Multimedia, they put out a demo for their upcoming revival of Kao the Kangaroo. If you haven't heard of Kao the Kangaroo, I don't blame you. Kao the Kangaroo is a character from my time. I'm an old man. It was another one of those 3D mascot platformers back when Crash Bandicoot, Sonic the Hedgehog, even Ty the Tasmanian Tiger were around. However, like Ty, Kao the Kangaroo was kind of one of those failed mascots where it didn't exactly generate much of a following. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger actually did somewhat, just not as big enough to really justify more sequels. I think he only got like 3 games, and then the IP went years before we saw Ty the Tasmanian Tiger 4. Kao the Kangaroo, unfortunately, suffered a much more, I don't want to say grisly fate, but it wasn't honorable by any means. So the first Kao comes out in roughly late 90s, early 2000s on Dreamcast, and I think one other platform, might have been PlayStation, might have been PC. And it didn't do stellar, at least critically. I think it was given like a 65% on game rankings, somewhere around there. People were like, yeah, it's a 3D platformer, and that's all it really is. It doesn't do anything special. Then the sequel came out a year or so later, was much better, but not that much better. People tend to reference Kao the Kangaroo Round 2 much more than the original game, just because there was more stuff to do, and it was a little bit spiffied up visually, right? But still, Kao the Kangaroo wasn't gaining any traction. So at this point, for some reason, the developers decided, okay, this IP isn't going anywhere as a 3D platformer. We need to reinvent it. So it did like this, I think it was a point-and-click adventure game that was PC only, and that didn't take off. And then they tried to go, from what I see on the cover, it was pretty much Conker's Bad Fur Day, where it was more with attitude, and Kao had like a soldier helmet on and a cigar in his mouth. It was a little embarrassing, in my opinion. Now, of course, I'm not a Kao the Kangaroo fan. For me, Kao the Kangaroo was always this IP I wanted to get into as a kid, but because you only get 2 opportunities a year to get games, at least if you're like me, who had birthday and Christmas. And then sometimes, you had those surprise, hey, I got you a game while I was at the store. Your parents come home and they bring you a brand new game. They have no idea what the hell it is. It's probably something you've never heard of. Kao was just never on my mind when it came time to telling parents, what do you want for Christmas? Or what do you want for your birthday? It just never came to mind. It was one of those IPs I always wanted to try, but never got to. So I'm kind of going into, I went into this demo with the mindset of, okay, how different is this going to be from Banjo-Kazooie, from Conker, from Super Mario, Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, etc., etc. 3D platformers were my thing. They still are. I love my 3D platformers. I played Yooka-Laylee. I played... what else? I've played some Sonic games, but they're not my cup of tea, honestly. But Kao the Kangaroo, this one, I want to say there's promise here. I really do. Because they have some really neat ideas. So the story of Kao the Kangaroo is you are basically this kangaroo with boxing gloves. It's actually kind of adorable in a way. And they seem to have this story going on where, like, the boxing gloves are possessed by some corrupt spirit of the jungle or something. And Kao's like, okay, cool, you're gonna go help me kick some ass then. He doesn't say those words exactly, but I'm just, you know, I'm being me right now. Anyways, they have some really cool ideas regarding the punching aspect. You know, like Kao's a kangaroo. He's all about smacking and beating the shit out of people, right? Well, it only goes so far as to like whacking switches, and there's a mechanic in the combat where if you beat up enough baddies, you fill up this meter, and once you do, you can unleash a powerful attack. It's great so far. I actually replayed the demo, or at least half of it I did, to really get a feel and see if it was still addictive even after the demo was over. And it kind of is, in a way. Like, pulling it off and beating the crap out of these frogs, but smacking these guys around was really, really satisfying. And what's even cooler is that the longer you hold on to that meter, like, you'll start getting these guys to spit out coins and health and stuff. It's really, really cool. But the thing is visually, it's not all that satisfying. It's the same trick over and over again. You do the same 3-hit combo, and once the meter's full, you jump in the air and smash your fist into the ground, and it creates a shockwave. It's really cool at first, and admittedly for me, it was somewhat satisfying, just not as satisfying as like the first few times. So my concern with this is like, are they going to keep, is that all we're going to do, is those same actions? There is another action you can do. It's like a dodge roll mechanic. You have to use that against some enemies. You can't punch those ones, so you have to roll beneath them to get past them, like spiders. Spiders was the way they introduced that. But they don't really do anything besides that. So like with Crash Bandicoot, for example, Crash could spin, jump, and do a slide, right? A dash slide. If you combined 2 of those, you could do like some really neat stuff. So you jump and then spin in the air and like mash spin. You could do the Death Tornado, and what it would do is it would let you hover slowly down towards the ground, which meant you could cover long distance gaps. Now you combine that with the slide dash, you cover way more distance, and you can cover even longer gaps like that. So with Kao, I wasn't getting any feeling of that. I wasn't feeling like I was having to mix up my abilities or my moves, you know. There was no like way to do an uppercut. The jumping and doing the tailspin, that was fine, but it was really basic. So I was super optimistic at first, hearing that Kao the Kangaroo is coming back, but after playing this, I'm now at cautiously optimistic. I'm not gonna lie here, this demo was somewhat rough, and I don't mean that optimally. In an optimal sense, the game was fine. It ran at 60. Apologies for the video not running at 60, though. For some reason, my computer doesn't like it when I'm playing a game and recording the screen, so at least with this one, it didn't like it. But it does run at 60, and it even supports 120, 144 frames per second. I didn't get to test that myself, because I don't have a computer that supports that. I don't care to have one that supports that. So, if you have a massive and ultra-powerful computer, you can test that at your own accord. But what I'm concerned of is them having this presentation the way it is, and then that's pretty much it. Because, like, they say the game's coming out this summer 2022. Now, to me, when you say it's coming out summer 2022, that means, to me, between May and August. So you have May 1st to August 31st to get this game out. And unfortunately for me, I don't know how old this demo might be. This could have been months ago that they put this out. But the way it is, it's not polished enough. I was finding bear traps that weren't going off. I could phase through them. The phasing thing, if that's intentional, then fine. I don't mind it. I don't care for it. I don't need ultra realism in this game. But it felt like they weren't working as intended. While other traps were going off, there were some that were just idle. So I don't know if maybe a few bugs might have come through this demo at all. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, yeah, they were bugs. But, you know, again, this is a demo build. This isn't the full game. There could have been a crap ton of work that has gone into this since they made this build. This build could have been made like 2 or 3 months ago for all we know. There's that. There are some visual effects that kind of just blink things out of existence. Those don't really seem visually pleasing. I'm not exactly someone who's picky on visual stuff, but in this case, it kind of like detracts. It feels like I'm still testing an alpha build or something, you know? Now, as for the 3D platforming thing, it does hold up with that, you know, the usual collectathon stuff, and it wasn't really complicated or that difficult to really find these things. I was finding passageways somewhat quickly, without much difficulty. There were some where I was wondering where the heck is this thing, but overall, the demo, I think it took me about 20 minutes to get through, and I missed maybe 1 or 2 collectibles. I know one of them was a heart piece. I was missing one of those, and then I think I got all of the KO letters. Those were somewhat easy to find. And after that, I think it's just maybe some areas with gold coins or maybe maps, I think. But overall, I managed to get through it no problem. I would assume this is probably the first level in the game, judging from the cutscenes and the way the characters talk. It seems very, very early game, but that's why I'm cautiously optimistic. The demo they put out insinuates that this is from very, very early game, so I do hope that they're putting in moves to help the combat feel a bit more satisfying and give the player a bit more agency and a bit more personality into the gameplay. Like the 3-hit combo and the shockwave thing, again, that's satisfying to pull off after the first handful of times, but afterwards, visually, it starts getting a little eh. And at that point, you got to give your player a bit more to work with. At least to the point where they can have their own fun. Even if the attacks don't do much, if they don't do anything differently, you know? But those are my general thoughts. I'm gonna put the link to the store page down below. The Steam Next Fest lasts until February 28th, which is this, if I can pull up my calendar, next Monday. So this upcoming Monday, by the time that you're seeing this. But I highly recommend you give the demo a try. Go and see if you like it. You cannot buy the game right now, but I did want to make a video of this to kind of bring people aware of Kao the Kangaroo. I feel like this really is an IP with a lot of promise, and the fact that they're bringing it back, it does seem like they're wanting to go all in on Kao this time. They want to give him a proper character design, a proper story, like a real game, not just another 3D platformer that's trying to cash in. We do live in a time right now where 3D platformers, 3D mascot platformers are kind of making a resurrection now. Again, the Tasmanian Tiger's coming back, and then we got a ton of others that I can list right now. We're in a bit of a resurgence, so to see Kao the Kangaroo getting a second chance, it warms my heart in a way. So, again, link is in the description below for the Steam store page. I do recommend you keep an eye on this. Go give the demo a try. Like I said, it'll probably take you 20 minutes, 30 tops, to play through the whole thing. And see for yourself. See if you like it. But until the next video, guys, I hope you all have a marvelous day, and I will see you on the next episode of Gaming Talks GrabBag.